Yay! Good morning, Kartik. Good morning, everybody who's logging in. We are so excited that you're joining us for this QuestionPro BI Ask Us Anything, and it's really Ask Kartik Anything. I'm just here to facilitate. To
You're
be
just here to
honest.
see to that I don't talk too much like a robot, I guess. You humanize me.
Yeah, I'm here to keep us on track, ask the questions. But if you don't know who I am, I'm Crystal Wiese. I'm the director of marketing here at QuestionPro. I'm based in Austin, Texas, which is going to be like hot today. It is still summer here. And then Kartik is joining us from India. Kartik, what do you do at QuestionPro, and what's your favorite question type?
Hey guys, so it's Kartik here. I've been with Question Pro about 13 odd years now. And frankly, at this point, I cannot define exactly what I do. I just do, I guess, jack of all trades. But
I exist.
I exist, yes. But yeah, one of my primary roles is to lead and develop the BI product, which I'll be show offing slash showcasing today. And yeah, my favorite question type is the good old single select. Can't go wrong. It's the backbone of any survey, I would say. Like, yeah, that's simply my favorite.
That's awesome. Well, let us know where you're from in the comments, and please ask any questions. We're going to start diving in here a little bit. I'm going to share my screen as we kind of go through. We did a webinar about BI a couple months ago, or maybe just a month ago. This is your solution architect, Kartik. You have a title here. Um, and we wanted to kind of make that go to the next phase of that. QuestionPro BI, I think, is really deserves its time in the sun. We have a lot of products communities that don't get their dues sometimes. And I want to make sure that everyone is adopting QuestionPro BI and really using it to its most full potential, because it really is such a unique offering that we have. So this is kind of the agenda for the day. A recap of our last BI webinar. We're going to overview and demo the platform, and then we're going to do a Q&A. Please put every question you have in the comments. Like, hey, Kartik, how did you make those tabs at the bottom? Because he's going to do a lot of things very quickly that you may miss, or there's a lot of secret nuggets for QuestionPro BI, especially if you're already using it, that we can showcase today. And my goals aside from this agenda are to make Kartik go slower than he normally does. And to make sure we also show how we're using BI with our AI solution and the old-fashioned way. So I don't know if that's the right phrase for that, but those are kind of my goals today as we're going through this. And so, Kartik, tell us a little bit about the BI tool in general for people who may just be joining us and haven't logged in and played around with it yet.
Yes, I think BI is I would say the easiest and quickest way to make visually beautiful dashboards, frankly. So I think it's really about efficiency where I've done research a lot back in the day, and I've obviously seen like the research grow over time or the research industry grow over time. And there was a time where you build your survey, you collect the data, and then you're going to spend a couple of days. It was normal on your reporting and dashboarding, frankly. And yeah, I think BI and with the power of like computing today and AI today, we are able to bring that down to you spend a couple of hours, you should be able to do practically what you want to do on BI. So I think that's the vision, that's the goal, and that's what we want to deliver.
That's amazing. And I'm sure that people are really relating to that that are viewing this. They know data visualization can be complicated. It can be research data is underutilized, and native BI tools are expensive. So would you say that typically what used to happen is you would take your survey data, let's say out of QuestionPro, and then plug it into another tool?
Yeah, I think that was like the most common way. So typically, like companies would have something like a Tableau or a
Hmm.
Microsoft Power BI or some central dashboarding tool that then you need to then get data from either QuestionPro or any other survey you're using, and then sit and map it, and then create those dashboards and stuff like that. And that whole process is a nightmare. Yes, I mean, for people who are efficient at it, yes, they can do great, but like for 90% of people, including me, that process is a nightmare. So yeah,
Cool.
I like the times today where you think of a problem and you can solve it with computing.
So you were really annoyed at your job and created a product to make your job easier.
Yeah, you could say that for sure. I like, man, like half my time goes in like these reporting challenges. And that's literally how I got into BI. Like, man, give me like 10 engineers and give me 6 months. I think I can solve this problem. And I think that's how this evolved.
That's amazing. And so, just some logistics about BI. It is live inside the Question Pro app right now. If you go to questionpro.com and you have an advanced or higher account, and it goes against all of our products. So, advanced, team edition, research edition, CX, and workforce. And that's really the differentiation point for, I think, a lot of people in research and insights is, we hear those, I would say, anecdotal stories that employee experience and customer experience are so interconnected, but very rarely do we see the data in formats that are interconnected. BI can help you do that along with your research information. There are some variables on access depending on your license type. So please just make sure you log in and look around. I sound like a commercial when I say that. And Kartik's going to show us everything here in a little bit about where you log in, how you can start new dashboards, how you can grab surveys, and we're going to walk through that. But just in case you haven't signed up for QuestionPro or you're not on QuestionPro BI, it is there on your left-hand side. One last thing before we jump into the demo is if you've been living under a rock, you may not have known that QuestionPro X Day is next week. It is our premier user experience conference, and we are on a wait list. The room is sold out. Like, there is not going to be a chair for everybody who comes kind of vibes. And so please, if you'd like to come, we have a wait list going, and just sign up on questionpro.com/X Day, and we will probably find you a seat. I'm not going to lie. I'm excited. There will be a session about ask an AI expert anything, and our head of customer success is going to be there, kind of walking through any of the QuestionPro tools you guys might want to talk about, BI probably being one of them. Kartik will not be joining us in person, and I'm bummed about it. Okay. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments. Like, how does Kartik get his hair so fluffy? That was also a question we could ask. Okay, Kartik, we're gonna swap right now, and I want to. You started too early, Kartik. I want you to sign out and then log in and show us where to find QuestionPro BI.
Let's do it. Awesome.
See,
But
I
before I
told
get
you.
started, let me answer the question of how my hair is so fluffy. Spend 5 to 6 hours a day on like stats and data and see the magic on your hair.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, guys, so you're logging into QuestionPro. We have so many QuestionPro accounts. This is where you're going to see it. And then you're going to go to.
So once you log in, this is kind of what you're very likely going to log into. And on the top left is the product switcher where you see all our products. And you might be on workforce, you might be on CX, you might be in research, one of these products. So you could be on practically any product. But once you come here, you're going to see BI, and this is open to everybody. So this is, you just kind of click on BI, opens up in a new tab, and that's it. You're in BI. So yeah, like Crystal said, like as long as you're a paying customer, you have full access to BI. Right now, there aren't even any restrictions. I mean, restrictions will start kicking in from Q1. So right now, you can pretty much use
2025.
everything that's out there. Yep.
I was like, wait, it is Q4 or 3. So get in
Yeah, I
while
mean,
you can.
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
And
so
the
we
and the best part is if you've made your dashboards now and then in 2025 we decide obviously they're going to be a license reshuffle, the dashboard that you've still used in the past are still going to work fine. We are not going to restrict those or stop those or anything. So I mean, yeah, whatever
you're
hard
gonna
work
get
you do today,
grandfathered in.
you're not going to lose it just because we change licenses. That will still remain as is.
Amazing. So the moral of the story is make as many dashboards now as you possibly can.
Okay, Crystal just gave me a hack that I now need to go and tell my developer to fix. But yeah, thanks, Crystal. I didn't realize that somebody could potentially do that. Yeah.
Not smarter than I look. Okay, so you've logged into QuestionPro BI, and we are assuming that if you have a BI, if you're logging into BI, you have sent surveys, right? We are assuming that you are a survey practitioner who is sending out surveys on the regular, because if you only send like one survey to your family about a family vacation, you probably don't need BI.
Yep.
But
It's
let's
probably overkill at that point.
so let's say you have a big data set, you collected a lot of data and you want to start visualizing it. Walk us through the beginning steps of that, Kartik.
Yep. So here you'll see you have the create dashboard. And I obviously have probably what do you go, 75, 80 dashboards, something like that. So yeah, I obviously create a lot of dashboards, but yeah, typically we just go to create dashboard, just give it a name. Let's just say, and here you'll see you have two options. One is a blank dashboard from scratch, and one is a AI powered or a QX bot dashboard where like the bot, based on the context of the survey and the questions, will kind of try and use the correct visualization options. For today, I'm going to use blank and just start from scratch and show you how that
We'll
works.
show both, but we are starting from
Yeah,
scratch first.
the other one takes like 10 seconds. So yeah, this one takes time.
Kartik's like, I
That's
made
the
the other
difference in
one.
a human and a bot, unfortunately.
Yes. Okay,
Uh,
so we got to start adding widgets.
yeah, so the first thing you'll probably want to do is probably add a logo or a header or something like that. So I can come into the add widget right here or even here. So both these pretty much do the same thing. And go to advanced widgets.
Ooh.
And here you have a few options like rich text box, comparative bars, heat maps, cross tabs,
Mm.
stuff like that. So here we are going to use the rich text box. Next. And here I want to, let's say, start off with a logo. So for the logo, right now you need to go to back to your question pro account. So this tab here.
Yeah.
And irrespective of which product you're in, you'll have access to your media library. So you need to go into your media library
Okay.
and you need to upload the image or the logo, or even if it's like a PPT or you want to use in the dashboard, like whatever you want, you need to upload it here. And I'm just going to look for Question Pro.
And our media library is really robust. Y'all can upload a lot of things because I know I have in the past.
Yeah. So just look, either upload or look for the image you want to use. And just here you see the option which says get link.
Great.
So just click on that and go back to BI and go to add image and just paste that in.
Perfect.
This step you're doing, you don't need to do. This is my internal account, so I need to do it. You can
Yeah.
ignore this step. So just paste that link and insert, and you're good to go.
Ta-da! Yeah, make that smaller, bro.
And you can resize this right here. I, I
Awesome.
can't afford to make a mistake with the logo right now. Uh,
I was like, the brand police is here. So this is great because you can, a lot of what we heard in the last webinar was people wanted to make sure that their account was branded for their teams, right? You want to download that PowerPoint, you want to make it branded. But in this case, you can actually make the dashboard branded. So you don't even have to download the dashboard. You could just share it and you can customize it with images and logos and brand colors natively.
Absolutely.
Great. I'm just saying a lot of things with confidence, assuming that Kartik is going to validate them.
Yeah, I have a couple of engineers in the background who are listening to you and coding as we speak.
So, if you're familiar with QuestionPro at all, you can customize your survey dashboards. This is kind of almost a mirror of that. And you'll use the same media library and the same options there. So great. This looks awesome, Kartik. QuestionPro.
And you'll notice here, I can just resize this the way I want. I can
Ooh.
reorder it, all of that. And before you get started, you can also like, since Crystal is here, I'm going to first show you how to brand it and make it look the way you want. So you just go into settings, and here you have a lot of options. And what you're going to go into for this task is design. Uh, and here you could just pretty much go to custom and then pick the colors you want. And what this does is like whatever color you put in number one means like whichever option has the highest percentage or highest score or whatever metric you're measuring, the highest would be categorized in this color, and then you set up the color for each option, and you can obviously add a number of colors. If you don't add the color, then the system or the AI will just take the color closest to the last one and try to create that. And once you're
That's
done, you
very
save it
cool.
as and give it a name, so you don't need to obviously do this again.
But so even you could even use your brand colors to show priority, right? Like this is our primary
Yep,
brand color and work your way down from there.
correct. So you
Awesome.
have the color picker here. You can just put in your color code or just look for it here as well.
Awesome. Oh, and it changes in real time. Man, it's so fun. I just love watching you guys work. It's like watching a video game.
Yeah, that's what you do when you're so busy that you don't have time to play video games. You try
you
and make
just
the code like
you
we
just
did
do
this.
market research. Okay, so this is in the settings under design.
Design.
And I'm sure your marketing teams and when you're presenting this to clients with like it's that double visualization when we're, kind of walking through uh presenting externally for sure. Is there anything else you want to while we're in settings, you just want to walk us through the basics since we're already here?
Yep. So obviously in general, firstly, just the dashboard name. Simple as that. Global settings. So this is like what should be the default behavior of your widgets. Obviously, you can change that as you're creating them. But what should be the default? So like, is it count or frequency that should be the default? What is your decimal frequency? So I typically in charts, I like it 0 or maximum 1. Data ordering, I typically like descending order. But again, it depends. A lot of people keep it as default. So descending means like whoever, like the option with like, let's say the highest frequency or count would be first and then so on. And then do you want to enable like widget stats by default? So widget stats are things like, okay, how many people answered this question? What has been the mean? What's the variance? Things like that. So additional stats on the widget. So once you enable it, then you can determine like which ones you want to show by default.
Oh, okay. So you could have all that data showing automatically if you wanted it to.
Correct.
Okay,
And I'll just
awesome.
leave it on for now.
Yeah.
Then you have a data slicer. So I'll come back to data slicer. This is likely to do with, I would like to showcase this. So once we
Okay.
have built the dashboard, then I'll come back to data slicer. We already went through design
Yep.
uh, and weight scheme. We don't have any weight scheme. So once we're done with weighting, again, I'll explain the weight schemes to everyone. And then AI settings is just right now it's just regenerate the AI. So if you've made a lot of changes or deleted responses, things like that, you want to regenerate the AI. So this is like for text analysis, and we also have like insights that the AI will give you from the widget. So things like that it'll just recalculate or recalibrate. And we're also having a disable option on this. So like we just want AI to be disabled altogether. That will soon be available as well, where none of the
Ooh,
dashboards will be AI powered.
So you have that option to be AI powered or not be AI powered, depending.
Correct.
In the future. We have a lot, like, guys, I mean, you could log into BI almost not every day because the builds are like every 2 weeks, but you could log in every 2 weeks and there's not going to be something different.
The builds every week actually for BI, not even every 2 weeks.
Oh,
BI
every
has
week.
a faster
Okay.
build cycle.
So we do actually have a couple questions. One question coming in. Brian, I see yours. I'm just asking our product guys on the roadmap for workforce integrations. But Darren has, especially in settings, our organization likes to use top 2 and bottom 2. Can you build
Mhm.
this into the dashboard easily? I would even say maybe from the settings or from the get-go.
Yeah, so top to bottom two, like you need to set that on the widget level.
Okay.
It's not a global setting because it can like your top two, bottom two, and then it could change based on question sometimes. So like if you have like a 3 point scale or 4 point scale, then you're probably just going to do like top two and not worry about bottom two. Versus like if you're doing like a 10 point scale, then you might sometimes do like top two and bottom three. So we don't have a default setting right now, but it kind of makes sense. It's such a common use case that we could have a default, and then anyone straying away from that could always change it. But I'll quickly show you how easy it is to do it even from scratch. So now let's add our first widget. So if we come to add widget, you're going to see question based or advanced. So I'm going to pick question based. So these are like just based on specific questions in a survey, and advanced are typically either question agnostic or like they could be 2 or 3 questions together that make up the widget, like a cross tab or a comparative bar.
Okay.
Uh, so let's go to simple question based, and I'm going to pick, let's say, my demo folder,
It's
and
like,
here I have
sorry, I
Google
was
demo
thinking me
survey.
and Kartik just
Mhm.
worked on a project together around Taylor Swift and voting information, like and voting, and I thought that might be in this one. And it's those
It
those
it is, but they're typically well hidden. Nobody will see them in demos. I'm not sure. Like anything like voting related, I just hide it. I will never show
that's
it.
probably wise. Okay, so single question for the 5 point scale right now is what you're doing, not an advanced question where you have multiple
Yes.
questions, or
So
not an advanced widget.
correct. So right now I want to show like the top bottom for like any question, frankly. So let's say I use this. So let's say this one. So here you'll see I've used like a stacked bar graph for this question, like how do you feel about folding phones? And then you have like different options, and it's a rating scale of 1 to 10, essentially. So here, obviously, you want to typically you just want to see like top two in most cases, and in many cases top two and bottom two, but generally like top two is like the single important number. So you just go into settings, and
Okay,
you would go into labels.
great.
And here you can kind of reorder your options, you can rename them, things like that. But one of the options here you'll see is merge labels. So just click on that, and you what do you want to merge? So you can also merge questions together. So sometimes if a couple of your questions have a very small sample size, you can even merge them together. But you're going to merge the answer. So it's a 5 point scale, sorry, not a 10 point scale. And I really care about top two, so I'm just going to take, let's say, 5 and 4, and just do top two. And I mean, I could do bottom two if I wanted to, but I'll leave it for now
Yeah.
and save it. And that's about it. And I want this after 3. We'll say I reordered that here, and that's it. So now you'll see I have my 1, 2, 3, and top two in purple. So it's pretty easy to even set it up, but yes, we don't have a default behavior for this.
Okay. Can't you also rename them just there on the screen too? The
No, you need to go into
No?
settings.
Oh, okay. I was like, I did it the other day and now I don't remember how I did it. So yeah, this is kind of when you're using a one question widget. There are a lot of, I wish I had like a pointer that I could like um, there are a lot of settings that you can do within that widget once it's on the dashboard. And that's just up here in that 3-point click down right here. So there are a lot of settings that you can do within one question widget. Yeah. And then tooltip styling, obviously. What are some other things in here that you want people to notice, Kartik?
Yeah, so I think the one other thing is like the orientation, like depending on the data you're showing, whether you want it like vertical or horizontal. And then you also have the percentage calculation. So this is typically like if you have like a select all that apply, then you can also kind of choose like should it be cumulative frequency? Do you want it based on the pe number of people who've answered the question? And then if you go into design, I think this is one thing that is certainly important. So typically when you're doing like top two, or if you're doing NPS, or if you're doing like CSAT score, things like that, although your brand guidelines might say like, let's say purple or blue should be like your color theme, but for those specific questions, you might want a different color because that's kind of the industry standard. So in that case,
Mm-hmm.
on a widget, you can go into design and you'll notice design type by default is dashboard. That means whatever is applied on the dashboard level gets applied here. So that means whatever we applied in the settings previously will get applied here, but I can change this to widget and then I can come and apply colors to specific widgets. So here I
Oh,
want my purple to be like green, for example. So I'm going to custom, change this to
so you can
green.
change it because they're like, if you're on an NPS question, like the colors that are like default, industry default for NPS are, green, yellow,
Correct.
red.
Exactly.
And so then you could make that question its default colors, industry standards, outside of your global brand colors that you set in the dashboard settings.
Correct.
Oh, look at that. Man, this is definitely one of those products that we have that you're going to have to just like be curious about and click in on everything to see like what's going on there. Okay, so Audrey has a question and I'm pretty sure we can answer it because I see the little light bulb sign with the 2 in it. Did we say that AI sentiment and insights for the widgets are available now?
Yep, that is correct.
And you can see because there's a little light bulb up here, and it pulls out the information just right there for you, right?
Yep. So this is
Okay,
this is
great.
kind of yeah, this is a QX bot insight where like depending once you've done your cost tab or once you've done all your widgets, it's just going to like give you a couple of lines on that data. So this is going to get better over time, but this is obviously a version one of that.
Perfect. Awesome. Love this. And then, Brian, I got an answer from you from Ungad, our PDM. Is BI available for Questions Pro DEI surveys, diversity and inclusion? And it is. They are showing workforce surveys. So you should be able to apply this. And the workforce roadmap is definitely built out even more so towards 2025. As Kartik said, they are doing weekly builds on this product. And so really it is a work in progress. All of Question Pro always is because we're always adding features. But if you know anything about us, we love building for our customers. I think we build for our customers first so much. And so, yeah, Kartik, you want to show us some workforce surveys? Do you have any?
Unfortunately, I don't have. Let me see if I have something. But just some more context on that. Huh, I'm not
Kartik's like,
allowed
I
to
don't
use
even have
workforce
that.
anymore. What the hell? Okay, I'm on production, I think. Let me just try one more time. But I wasn't on production, I guess. That's, yeah, I'm,
Oh, there
there
we
we
go.
go. Awesome. So yeah, so just for some more context there, like the workforce, within workforce, you have like a few ways, obviously, of collecting data.
Mm-hmm.
So typically, like the surveys itself within workforce is completely supported by BI, just like any other survey. But if you were to do, let's say, a 360, right, that is kind of slightly different, and that is currently something that we don't support, and we plan to support probably by mid 2025. But yeah, as long as it's a survey on any product, you'll be able to like use it natively and comprehensively on BI.
Amazing. Okay, so let's go back to our widgets. Let's do an advanced widget now, right? We know
Yep,
crosstabs are a pain.
they're the pain and bread and butter of any
Right?
researcher.
They're like, you have to do them, but everybody is also like lumped about them. And
Yeah.
so, let's do that. And then Caroline has a question about heat map widgets too.
Yep, so let's do both. So first, let's do a cross tab. So let's do this. And again, let's pick a survey. Mm. And now pick all the questions you want in your cross tab. So let's say I want gender, I want income. Have you heard about folding smartphones? And
I
then
need to figure out why I think I need better glasses. I feel like I'm leaning in like an old lady.
let me do this. If this is better.
Yes, it's a little
Okay. And
better.
now just determine your rows and columns. So typically your demographics are going to be in the column. I'll put gender here, this
Okay.
here, and add income. Income goes back here. So where and I'll do this with this, save, and we'll just obviously make this larger. So you'll see like the
Oh,
basic
it's so
framework
big.
of the crosstab is
Giant
here.
crosstab.
And here you'll also notice like shades of green. And let me go to settings first. So here you'll see in analytics you have like tons of stuff you can enable or disable. So like column percentage or row percentage. So now with the counts, we also
Right.
have percentage, column overall,
Oh, and you can just like do
row
it with the
total.
click of a button. It's just like boop, boop, boop. And this is coming
Yep,
straight from your Question Pro survey that you fielded in research.
that is correct.
That's awesome. I mean, if I was more of a market researcher, I'd probably find this even more awesome, but I like the colors. This is
Then,
great. What do you, and then you can rearrange from here. This also, Audrey, back to this, the widget will start building, it's kind of like BI or it's AI insights as it stays in here longer, um, which is really fun. And then, this is, pretty great. Okay. What's the takeaway here, Kartik? What's the coolest thing you can do with a crosstab chart in BI?
yeah, so I think one of the most important things that you want to do like in charts is here you'll see you have the option to kind of disable or show options. So like if
Okay.
a particular option or group of options have very little data, they're not really significant, you can just start kind of disabling them. So that is certainly something that's, I mean, it takes time, a lot of time if you were to do it externally. So those kind of things are pretty easy to do. And the other thing is you're just like the heat map or what we call the shades of green here tell us if there's like significant difference from the other values in that row or column depending on what you're doing.
Oh,
So
so it
it easily just
automatically
gives
heat
you
maps for you.
correct. So it just yeah it just pretty much signifies what you should be looking into. And then also the best part is all of this is shareable. So
Hey,
there are
Joel just asked
very
this
few.
question. Look at this. Great job.
So you can share it. Anyone clicking on it can view it. You can also enable insights, that is AI-powered insights that they can have access to as well. You can allow commenting where they can comment on it and ask you questions about any widget, so like the cross tab or any other widget. And you can also enable filtering if you wanted to. So that's also, I think, something that's very powerful. Build a powerful cross tab and then share it directly, and then as the surveys collecting data, the cost tab automatically gets updated. So that's certainly something that the end clients appreciate.
Okay, so let me just recap that so we all know where we went there. Okay, you field a survey. Their data's coming in. You can build your BI dashboard as the survey responses are coming in and it's automatically updated, or you have to wait till it's done.
Nope, it's automatically updated.
Automatically updated. So you build your BI dashboard, your surveys in the field surveying, you share the BI dashboard out with your end customer or client or stakeholder. You can then allow them to see the data coming in live time through this crosstab chart or BI dashboard. You can allow them to comment on the widget. You can allow
Yep.
them to even play with the settings using the dynamic filtering options, and you can allow them to see the AI insights automatically or none of the above.
All of the above.
All of the above or none of the
Love the
above.
summary.
So, Joel, that really does, yes, just like QuestionPro's survey dashboard that collects and updates in real time, BI also updates in real time. That's really powerful, Kartik. People want those time to insights so fast. And I think we're answering that problem here.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
I see another interesting question that's come up. Should we take that one from Darren
Yes, it's
regarding
very
the?
long. It's going to cover your face up.
Yep. So yeah. So we don't use ChatGPT because I think ChatGPT is slightly more, I would say, AI built for obviously thousands of use cases. So we call our and let me go into my admin account. Okay, so we call our AI engine Pathos AI. So it's really designed and trained specifically for and to analyze survey data. So let's create one real quick. So let's just say, and here we just need to pick a question. So again, we're just going to pick from the same survey that we are seeing.
Yep.
I had one question here, which is, how do you feel about folding smartphones? It's a
I
text
feel not great
question.
about them.
Yeah, I love them, but unfortunately, I just broke a couple and I've stopped buying them. But if they were any sturdier, I would love them. So anyway, so here you'll see like the total of about 335 responses. You'll see the overall sentiment that we've got, which is about 3.5 out of 5, which is generally good. Then you'll see the top 10 themes or categories that it found within the data. So you'll see like quality, pricing, products, staff, uh, presentation, things like these are like themes that it identified.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can certainly click on, let's say, quality and see like what was categorized as uh, positive or what was categorized as quality. So let me just refresh this. Facing some issues.
So I just to be clear, this is separate from the BI dashboard. You just made this. This just was made automatically.
And this is within the BI dashboard. I mean, I could add it to the BI dashboard as well, but I need to add like one at a time. So this is like
Yeah.
dedicated for Pathos AI, and it just
Oh,
adds
okay. Hold
everything
on.
that
Go
it
back
can
to
do.
the left. Go back. Okay. So if you're in, I was like, Kartik, you were going too fast. I told you. Okay, so you have your dashboard, your data sets, your weightings, and then this is Pathos AI down here at the bottom.
That is correct.
Okay, great. So everybody has this view. This isn't like just a magical Kartik view.
Everybody will have this view in a week's time.
Ah,
But
okay. In
right
a
now,
week's
Pathos
time.
AI is in internal and like few clients have access. So anyone needs access, we can give them, but it will be like completely released next week.
Okay, so Darren, next week you'll have more access to finding AI in like insights and shenanigans. Kartik is giving you a bit of a sneak peek into that. Cool. Love that. I was like, wait, Kartik, you went too fast. I got lost. So you can really, and then you could add these insights to your dashboard.
Correct.
Great. And then Caroline is going to take us. Is there? Oh, so we'll go back to filtering. But Kartik, is there anything else about AI magic here that you would like to talk about? You seemed very excited about it.
Yes, so absolutely. So I think one other thing that we are working on, obviously, it's probably at least a quarter before we launch this. But since everyone's super excited about AI, I do want to show this as well. So this is called our Pathos AI dashboard, or where we are kind of allowing our clients to train or have like a layer of their own inputs or own instructions over and above the general Pathos AI. So we see here the different options. There's like, let's say, QX bot. So QX bot, you could tell it like, okay, do ad testing, like what type of study do you want to do? How long is it? What kind of questions you want to ask? Which industries? One time longitudinal, things like that. And it's
Mm-hmm.
going to give you a very, very precise set of questions that you can use. You got things like masking, analyze text, where like you'll be able to see the text that it's analyzed and then retrain it if you see errors based on the context of your data. Dimension editor, so this is slightly more to do with CX, but essentially what we're getting at is the ability to have your own layer of training on the AI that kind of available. So I think that is going to be something if the way we see it and the way we envision it should be something super powerful and useful for all our clients.
And then you could also, I mean, not customize it, but sometimes you have your own internal lingo. You have like,
Exactly.
right.
Yep.
And so you can really, the dimensions, the documents, the sectors, you can really start building this out for your customers and your programs. I know we have some workforce customers that have kind of a strategic operate. They were just on our town hall last week. They have a operational method for how they do their
Yep.
surveys, and they could apply that in here. So then the insights reflect their operational method.
Yep. Yep.
Cool.
A good example of this also is like, let's say like we do a survey in QuestionPro today. Many people might kind of write QuestionPro as QP, or or like
Yeah.
somebody who's in the workforce team might write WF or something like that, right? So like being able to tell the model that okay, when they say WF, QP, or just CX, they mean QuestionPro, right? And then you just do that once, and it's always going to know that okay, when you're doing internal surveys in QuestionPro, like these things do mean just QuestionPro as the company, essentially.
Ah,
Eventually, in a perfect world, the bot should just be smart enough to get it. But at this point, when if it does miss it, then you can just go and kind of update it. So that's like one example of like being able to retrain the model.
that's awesome. Though I did get a side message from our producer who was like, get Kartik back on track. So we gotta go. We could do once Pathos AI is released, we'll do an entire another webinar on this. To be honest, you guys who are watching this is going to be really powerful for you guys to train your own modeling for BI. So don't worry, we'll do another webinar on it. Caroline has a question about filtering. I keep covering up Kartik's face when I put these questions. Going off to, when I share a dashboard with filters available for users to view, how can a viewer reset the filters if they go too far down the rabbit hole? I'm assuming like I am always like pew 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 pew, and then I'm like, how did I get back to the beginning?
Okay, so let me pull up a survey which has some filters. So at this point, even I don't know actually how would you reset a filter. That's something I'm not. I don't remember at least on top of my head.
So this is
So
a play with Kartik. Break it and
so
fix it.
let's see together. So let's see. So NBA sample. So let's see this. Okay, so let's say for this, do I have some filters? Let's go into filters. Okay, I don't have filters, so let me create a couple of, or let me create one filter. Didn't
And
save much time.
guys, if you're watching and you have more questions, please submit them in the questions. We might not get to them in the Like I was like, we've been talking about this for 45 minutes. I feel like we could talk about this for another hour, Kartik. Um, but if you guys put the questions in the chat, we will send out a blog post with all the answers after this, just like we did on the last webinar. And so there is definitely just more opportunity to learn. And then we're going to be showing the options here. Perfect. It says I just put that question in there. It says Crystal Wiese, put your questions in here, but I didn't type that. I was talking with my hands. Thanks, Mark. Okay, so
Okay,
we've shared, this is your external facing dashboard that you could
correct,
share with a stakeholder.
correct.
Cool.
So let's see.
Oh man.
I don't see the question here. Sorry.
This really is like watching a video game. I should put you on Twitch, Kartik. Just like live stream Kartik building surveys.
Yeah, I'll just be too tempted to play something if I go on Twitch. So, okay, there's some cache here. Let me try another browser.
No worries. Is there I know we use the same demos
Oh,
a
there
lot.
we go. I didn't enable this. So there we go. Should work now. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
So now if I wanted to reset this, there we go. So you'll see clear values. So this should reset everything to as it was. So anytime you apply any filter, you'll always, if you hover there, you'll get this clear filter value. So it will go back to default.
That's awesome. But see, this is why we do these demos so that we can find the little things that we make sure everyone can see. And this is because we didn't show this earlier, this is what your stakeholder would see as an external dashboard. You can see the little AI sentiment on the thought bubbles where they could see the different insights. You can turn this off or turn it on for them to see. And then this is also where they can change, like play with the filtering, right?
That is correct. Yep.
Okay.
So these are like, we can, depending on like the questions you have, you can let them play with those filters.
That's awesome. So cool. Okay, so we've got a few more minutes. I want to talk about exporting this information, even though we would love for y'all to share it, inside QuestionPro BI. There is what about, this is a question I got, what's the difference about the SPSS and CFS exports from survey to BI?
Yeah, so I think as of today, there isn't really any difference whether you export it from QuestionPro, regular QuestionPro, whether you export it from BI, you're going to get pretty much the same data. But where it will add value is, again, we don't have much time to explore it in detail, but if you come into data set, there's this concept of a data set where you can have like 7, 8 surveys merged together as one data set, right?
Did you
So
say
then when you export that,
70?
7 or 8, I mean, any number
Oh,
you want.
7 or 8. Okay. 7 or 8. So you could merge 7 or 8 surveys into one data set and then export that. And you can do that in BI.
Correct. So you could export all of that data as one kind of master data set. So that's kind of one. And in BI, we also, I mean, we'll be launching in probably a month from today a concept called a BI variable. So what that means is like once your data is collected, post data collection, you can append variables to it. So I could say, okay, if someone lives in US and is male and lives in California and shops at least once a week, then he's like market segment one or whatever. Right? There's some kind of categorization that I've done, and I want to now append that to the data and then export it into SPSS or whatever. So those kind of things are also going to be possible. So yeah, and if you see exactly as of today, there isn't much difference. But then as and how we start building out these tools, then we're actually treating that raw data that you have with all these additional layers that we do, or if you do, let's say, rim weighting, right? On
Mm-hmm.
BI. So then when you export the data, you'll have like the weight variable added to the data. So things like that start giving you a bit of extra when you export it from here. But yeah, in
Very
it's the same, fundamentally the same, but then as I start doing these things, they start differing.
right. So if you do like multiple surveys across, let's say, different gas stations, and you're like, okay, in surveys, I'd have to export them each individually. In BI, you could export them as one file.
Exactly.
Magic. Okay, and then Caroline has one last question. This is why we're here, guys. We want to answer your questions. And I know I'm like 99% sure I know the answer to this question. You can merge multiple survey questions into one widget.
Yeah, absolutely. So
That's like
that's
the like
exactly the
one of
data
the
set, right?
that is like one of the perfect reasons to have BI.
So
Caroline,
let's just say as a very simple
it's like you
example.
have our script.
Yeah, very simple example. Let's say the gender question from these three surveys. I just want to merge them. So I just create the database, add them. And by default, what the AI is going to try to do is just map as many common questions together as possible. So you'll see
Kartik,
like
you
gender
even took
question
this.
is
Hold
now
on,
mapped.
Kartik. You even took this a step farther. You're taking three separate surveys and merging question types. I think Caroline's
Yeah,
question was, could you just do it out of one survey? Which is like, you're like, yeah, of course. But here you could even do it out of three surveys.
correct.
That's crazy cool. Okay, keep going.
Yeah. So there we go. So I'm going to just get rid of all this. So let's say like the gender question from all three surveys, I now want to merge and create one widget out of. So I can do this, go ahead and save it. So that's done. So now when I go into any dashboard, and if I go into add widget, and I'm going to do question based, and here you'll see in this drop down an option called My Datasets. So just click
Mm-hmm.
on that, and I'm going to get this that I just created. Add the gender question. Let's just say like, yeah, bar graph is fine. And there we go. So now this widget is essentially all the three kind of surveys combined. So you had like combined of like 50.9% female population in these three surveys. And then you can
That
start obviously breaking it by survey as well.
that's very cool. And even farther than Caroline was asking, she was just asking about one survey, which is like easy peasy at this point.
Yep, yep. So I mean that's the point of a data set. You want to manipulate the data, you want to add some more data, you want to append or edit data. So eventually data set is going to be a solution to all of that.
Yeah. So if you wanted to just add three questions into one widget from one survey, you would just go to add widget. I'm going to see if I can do this. Add widget and then pick your
No,
survey
it's
and then
much
pick your question.
easier. Actually, let's say here, right? I want to add these two rows. These are essentially these are five or six questions, right? And I want to add, let's say, these two or three together. So I could simply just go into settings here. I mean, you could do it in the data set as well, but you don't need to do all that. Just come here, go into label, go into merge, and just merge these questions together.
Oh, or you could just do that. What I'm realizing is there are like very simple ways to do your dashboards, and then there are very complex ways. And so anything that you guys are doing in that Excel document, I just imagine like market researchers sitting in the dark, like just doing formulas. um, you can do in QuestionPro BI.
Yep. So I mean, single survey is like super easy. Like you can just merge things together, or you could go the way of doing a data set, but you don't really need to. But yeah, multiple
That
ways it could be done.
Amazing. Okay. What is the one thing outside of Pathos AI that I know you're very excited about? What's the one thing that you think that QuestionPro BI solves for your everyday market researcher that is like the hardest part of their job?
So I would say, I mean, I can't answer it in one thing, but I would say two things. One is typically like if I go 2 years also into the past, most research teams would have like let's say set number of people, 8, 9, 10 programmers who are going to, let's say, draft your questions, get the data, analyze the data, things like that. And then you have one dedicated guy or one or two dedicated people just for dashboarding and reporting and stuff like that. So I think one thing that BI solves is right now it's simple enough that everyone who's created the survey, they can build the dashboard based on how they visualize it and how they want to present it, and not rely on someone else to do that heavy lifting, which is obviously time consuming. You lose data in translation, things like that. And the second is just even like the speed, right? I would say like even if you're using something like Tableau, which is obviously like the best, one of the best tools out there for, let's say, graphing, things like that. But like what you can do like in Tableau, if a dashboard takes you like 5 hours, 5.5 hours to do, in QuestionPro is going to take you under 30 minutes. So I think because
Well,
because we built it.
that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a trade-off, right? So QuestionPro can only treat or only do analysis on QuestionPro data, so we know exactly the format and how the data is going to come. So that makes us 50 times more efficient and much faster. But on the other hand, the trade-off is we cannot consume data from any other platform, which Tableau can, right? Or any
Right.
other BI tool can. So I mean, that's the trade-off, obviously. But then we feel that okay, for the customers of QuestionPro, they don't really care much. At least 99% of them don't care about other data. So at least let's solve or make the people or these people's life easier.
Yeah, our customers' lives easier. We built
Yep.
this. I mean, this is like QXBot was also built for us. And then we're like, well, I mean, we think about us as market researchers, and it's like, okay, Kartik, like, you're spending all this time doing this, and you're like, wait, what if we build a tool for our customers and for ourselves to make our lives easier, more efficient? And then you get to add all this cool, stuff in there. Okay, I've been told to ask, where's the Easter egg in the platform?
I don't know. Easter egg. Easter egg. I don't know if there's any Easter egg as of now.
Okay, Mark said
I
there's
guess
something.
really the Easter egg was literally this button, like when you kind of do this and this that comes up. This is literally like even I didn't know this till someone asked that question. I was just praying that we did think about this problem. So for me,
Uh,
this is literally an Easter egg right now. But yeah, I mean,
that's
everyone
funny.
would
Even
find it
Kartik
in
is
their journey.
discovering things about BI while we're on here. Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much, Kartik. We really appreciate the time that you've taken to walk us through this. Also, your obviously your passion about it. So I'm sure you are already have new ideas on other things to start adding to the builds. And again,
Yeah.
y'all, um, if you guys
The one
have
thing I'm not, I forget who asked it, but the one thing that I'm certainly going to get done is like just having a default of top two and bottom two, which I think it is a smart idea. So yeah, whoever has that, kudos. I'm going to get that done next couple of months.
you're like, oh, no, then I wouldn't have to go through every widget and do it. That's what you're thinking. Um, that's amazing. We'll be doing a few more of these as we wrap up the year. And if you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to your account manager or your account rep. And if you don't know who that is, reply to an email that you've gotten from us. It'll find our way that we'll find where you need to go. um, and then we would love to have you join us at Question Pro X Day next week. We'll be talking a lot more about BI and all the amazing things it can do there. And Kartik, we are so thankful for you.
My pleasure. This was a great session and great audience. Love the questions and look forward to doing this more often.
Well, yeah. Well, let's just hopefully we have some time. And then for everyone who attended, we'll be sending out a blog post probably give us by next week so we can go through, answer all the questions in a written form, and we'll send that out. Have a great day, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye
Bye.
bye.